My girlfriend's parents are extremely controlling, so I helped her escape.
The Great Escape.
So, quick edit at the top here. The GF stands for gender fluid. The pronouns change daily, so I stick with gender neutral ones when speaking about them generally. I, 22 female, met my partner, 23 gender fluid, on Facebook dating when I was 20 and they were 21. I had never been in a relationship and was on dating apps for years at this point. We clicked shockingly quickly and were messaging each other constantly. By the way, this comes from user Lesbo Queen on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, we had so many similarities neither of us thought we'd see in another person. We saw each other's character extremely quickly, and it was like looking in a mirror. So we became a couple after 2 dates. There was no question about it. I saw some odd behavior from their parents very quickly with how restrictive they were about our initial meeting. I wasn't allowed to pick up my partner. The dad had to come with us, and he even took a picture of us at the restaurant to quote unquote prove to the mom that he stayed with us the entire time, though he just drove around the plaza to give us some privacy. I dismissed it as them wanting to make sure I wasn't a catfish or something, so I didn't think it would continue past our first date. I met the mom on the second date. I went to church with them since my partner was forced to go. We're both atheists, and that's where I saw all the red flags. I joined them on an outing and wasn't even allowed to drive myself there. We barely got the chance to be out of earshot of the family. The mom only told me, "Hello," and "It was nice to meet you," the entire time. And when my partner tried every opportunity to include her, she has a history of being upset when not being included. She would just complain to them like it was a personal attack. I was infuriated having personal experiences with those types of comments from my own mother, who I temporarily cut off at 18. So I mentioned what I saw in our phone call that night to make sure my partner knew they tried their best and it wasn't their fault their mother reacted that way. We officially became a couple a few hours later. We made a relationship update the next morning, and naturally the mom was making comments to my partner about how we're moving too fast. My partner tried everything to tell her about me, but she would either get upset or find something to not approve of, despite it being in line with her morals. We could only see each other on the dad's schedule, so of course it conflicted a lot with mine. I got increasingly frustrated that I couldn't see my partner on our time like we weren't both adults. The fact that I had been so respectful of their stupid rules and never complained, only to get no respect in return, made me start playing it my way.
Again, you are young. 20, 21,
Yeah.
Parents are going to be like still treating you as a kid, especially if you're living under their roof.
Yeah, if you live in the house, it's going to be really hard to not be treated like you're a kid living in the house.
Yeah.
If you're not paying rent, if you're not paying bills, the
sucks.
unfortunate reality of Western society, and I think maybe most other societies, is that this is our house, not yours.
Our house, our rules. And you're like, I've been very respectful, and like, I don't care.
Move out.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Which sucks. That sucks.
It does suck.
That's the scenario.
It does. I worked only a few minutes away from their house and got off around midnight, so I got the idea of asking my partner to sneak out so we could go to some late night restaurants. My partner hadn't done that before, nor I, but we successfully did this 5 nights in a row. We had our first kiss the first night that we did this, in the middle of their street. It honestly felt like a movie. On the third night, my partner complained that the dad wouldn't buy more allergy medication and didn't want to use up the mom's, so at work the next day I decided to deliver said medication and some goodies from Walgreens. I asked my partner first, of course, but they assumed that I was getting it delivered to my place for our meetup that night. I thought if the parents were going to get upset, it would be because I had their address. The mom exploded over this, then gave my partner the silent treatment. Toxic. The dad came in to explain to my partner what was wrong, saying it was weird to get someone medication outside of marriage.
What?
What?
These are just allergy meds.
Remember, kids, no allergy meds before marriage.
What?
No spicy sleep, and especially no Allegra before marriage.
No free sponsors.
I don't even know if they're real.
As someone who has a lot of allergies, that was like the most generous thing you can do is get me allergy pills because they are pretty pricey. So what?
Oh, well, as you just said, they say it was too expensive. Maybe that's why it was weird.
But what?
And now it makes it seem like my partner was leeching off of me. I was obviously baffled and infuriated. My partner was being punished over something I did. It was $25 over-the-counter medicine and an absolute gift. My partner never asked me for it. It was my idea. And who were they to criticize the way I spend my money? On night 5, the mom put a parental lock on my partner's internet, probably to hinder contact with me. as if phone data doesn't exist. My partner had enough and took me up on my offer of staying with me. So they took a bag and their cat and ran away that night at 21. That's not running away. That's just leaving.
You are an adult now.
Yeah, you just left a place.
I think both OP and their partner are very sheltered, and they've never again tasted freedom or like done things on their own. And this is like, I can do things. I'm an adult.
Yeah, it sounds like intense religious conservatism, especially with like, oh, spending $25 for your partner outside of marriage is unacceptable and weird. Like, what?
What? It was for their benefit and their health, and
crazy. My partner left a note making it clear that this was their decision and not mine. The dad called the next afternoon, obviously upset and begging my partner to come home. He then showed up at my work, but he obviously was only there to beg for his kid back, not to have a proper conversation about why my partner left. So I wasn't interested. Our intention was to shock them into perspective that they needed to respect my partner as an adult and weren't entitled to a relationship with their kid if they treat them like crap. This is exactly what I did with my mother, and our relationship has never been stronger. Our terms were that we could all discuss what happened and why together, but my partner would not do it without me because I would make sure things were properly communicated without risk of them intimidating and manipulating my partner. They refused, citing it as a family issue as if I wasn't involved and they weren't actively villainizing me. So their other option was going to therapy. Yeah, it's crazy for them to be like, no, person who our child is living with, you're not at all involved in this.
These are very overprotective parents that just want their way and want to control their kid.
Hey, what are we doing over here? Well, come on. Okay. The dad, in his stupidity, assumed that I wouldn't listen in on their phone calls. He actually agreed to speak to my dad, who I live with, and then tried to use my father's conversation to manipulate my partner by twisting his words to make it sound like my father agreed with him, that he's right to make my partner come back. He also tried to use the fact my partner couldn't drive and didn't have a job or quote-unquote life skills against them, but who was supposed to teach them? I easily saw through his tactics, but my partner was not able to defend themselves against it. If the dad just talked to me, I could answer his concerns. Not only did I rent my first apartment at 17, but I had done the research and been prepared to help a friend become independent with even more hurdles than my partner. I was literally the best person to handle this entire situation, as if all of my life experiences prepared me for this relationship. He kept saying things like blah, 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 and it wasn't logical, trying to make my partner feel unreasonable. They literally thought my dad and I were human traffickers and outed my partner to their grandparents, so they disowned my partner.
Well, that's one way to get. Yeah, that's one way to get out of, that locking parental guidance.
Yeah. Oh, you won't come home? All right. Let me try to get your friend and their dad arrested for a felony, and also I'm going to make your grandparents hate you.
Wow, you guys are like the best parental figures out there. Congrats.
Yeah, really making a strong case for why they need to go back home. The mom demanded $200 for my partner's phone that wasn't my or my father's money, and would only hand over Social Security card and the birth certificate needed to get a job if my partner gave her their cat, which was in my partner's name and bought with their own money, until she got the money she wanted, because you clearly love that cat more than me. The dad eventually convinced her to hand over the documents. My partner agreed to go to the nameless taco establishment alone with him to get the documents and talk a bit. That's when he presented an ultimatum he wrote with the mom. It said that my partner had to move back home or with the grandparents, this was before the outing, in I think 10 days, with the benefits of them helping my partner learn to drive and get a job, freedom to see me whenever, and getting therapy. This is a classic bait and switch. This is not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
You can learn how to drive from, OP's dad.
Yeah. Don't need any of them for that. And if they refused this ultimatum, they would be cut off from the family, from the phone plan, and from health insurance. My partner just said whatever to make the conversation end. I read the crap and said bet, and then ordered a new phone line. I was literally yelling, call their bluff. What? We're just supposed to trust them to keep their word even if my partner agreed to it? The mom then blasts this family matter on Facebook, saying my father and I had my partner in a stranglehold, continuing this narrative that my partner wasn't capable of making their own thoughts and decisions. My partner fought with her in the comments and even said, if you think it's forever, you're fooling yourself and you're burning all your bridges as you go. As if this woman who said 2 things to me knew the longevity of our relationship. They finally arranged for the mom and my partner to see a counselor. It didn't go well the second session, so my partner refused to go back. But in these sessions, the mom said she knew I was a bad person during the medication debacle because my partner shrugged at one of her questions, which was giving her an attitude, which was clearly picked up from an outside source, obviously.
I don't like that.
How do you possibly spin, oh, my child's partner brought them allergy medication without even being asked? That's thoughtful.
You forgot to say, because the dad didn't get the partner the allergy medication in the first place.
Literally covering your own mistakes. And then you're like, this person is nasty. I can tell. The way you shrugged, she's giving you attitude.
She's changed since she's taken these allergy pills.
Yeah, which by the way...
Since they've taken these allergy pills.
Definitely sounds like the mom doesn't have a shred of attitude, right? I'm sure her attitude needs 0 adjustments. I hate people like this. They just kept on going. They said they listed the house for sale so they could move out of state because the situation was just too much. They were literally forcing my partner to choose between them and me. I never wanted that. I suspected it was a lie, but my stepmother confirmed the house was never listed for sale, which is even more rich because my partner told her they wanted a new therapist because the second therapy session made them think of self-harm, and she completely ignored that and then said she needed to talk later so she wasn't too distressed before the realtor comes. Wow. And by the way, I just want to let you know, you can listen to full episodes with stories like these. All you got to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from and search OK Storytime. And there you will find a plethora of episodes to peruse in.
So many.
So before you finish this story, I mean, like, clearly there should be no issue with going no contact with the mom.
That's obvious.
And the fact that the dad is also not really having a backbone here and seeing the error in their handling of the situation.
They just want to go back to their original ways, have control of OP's partner, and that's that. It's just very clear, like they're trying to do anything to manipulate OP's partner to just get them back, and just ruin their life.
Yeah, and I mean, look, in a different context, maybe this is a positive. In a different context, and I don't think this is the case, but if they were dating someone who was like the devil, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe do force the issue, try to get them to come back home. But clearly, the person bringing them allergy meds when their own parents forgot to get them is not the devil.
No, and again, you should be doing if I were a parent, you would be like, okay, my child is getting taste of freedom. Kind of want to like navigate it in the right direction. This is completely the wrong direction in navigating them of how to handle adulthood.
Yeah. So the dad kept insisting that my partner reach back out to her and reassure her that my partner loves her and this isn't her fault, but it is. So my partner finally blocked them both. Then the dad took their brother's phone and pretended to be him. So my partner also had to block their brother. Collateral damage here now because the parents are so, I got no other word but stupid.
Yeah.
All because the parents couldn't understand that they weren't entitled to a relationship with their child. There were more shenanigans from the dad through email and physical mail, but he finally agreed to have a discussion with both of us a year later. He finally gave up after I wrote him a 6-page email laying out everything he needs to take responsibility for and everything he would need to do to mend the relationship. And my partner had their own version cussing him out. It felt like an argumentative essay about why he's an a-hole, including sources. The silence we received was bliss. Oh, by the way, we're 2 years in now and engaged.
Congratulations.
Yes, although I would low-key be wary of the trauma bond. The ring was in an allergy meds bottle.
That's adorable.
That's
full
amazing.
Circle.
That is full circle. That's amazing.
Whatever allergy company or allergy bottle you got, have them sponsor the wedding.
True.
Have them pay for the wedding.
Allergy medication sponsor wedding.
Yes.
Wow. Well, that's a great ending.